What if I told you that your next trip from Mumbai to Ahmedabad could be quicker than binge watching a single episode of your favorite Netflix series? No traffic, no airport chaos, just 2 hours of gliding over at 300 kilometers per hour. Sounds like something out of a sci fi movie, right? Well, it's not a fiction, it's the future. Welcome to India's first bullet train, the Mumbai Ahmedabad high speed rail corridor. Picture this sleek Shinkansen style trains, the pride of Japan, now zooming across Indian soil, powered by next gen technology and a dream that began nearly a decade ago. But here's the twist here in 2026, and that dream still hasn't left the station. So, what happened? In this deep dive from Dailylearn, we'll unravel the entire journey the grand vision, the political drama, land acquisition nightmares, the engineering marvels underway, and most importantly, when you can finally hop aboard. Because this story isn't just about a train, it's about India's leap into the future through ambition, innovation, and sometimes frustration. Stick around, this is a ride you don't want to miss. Let's rewind the clock to 2015. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Japan, and something big brews in the background a collaboration between India and Japan for a high speed rail project. In 2017, the Mumbai Ahmedabad High Speed Rail or MAHSR project was officially launched with a grand ceremony in Ahmedabad. It was supposed to revolutionize Indian railways, costing over 1.08 lakh crores, roughly $15 billion. 81% of this was financed by a soft loan from Japan at just 0.1% interest, repayable over 50 years. That's a phenomenal deal. The train was supposed to cover 508 kilometers in just about 2 hours, stopping at 12 stations, including Thane, Vapi, Surat, and Vadodara. The projected opening 2023. Sounds perfect, right? But as we know, that didn't happen. So let's talk about the single biggest speed bump this bullet train hit land. Now imagine this Japan hands you a futuristic train, one of the fastest in the world. The technology, ready. The money, already in the bank. Engineers, standing by. All that is left is the land. The literal track to run the dream on. Sounds simple, right? Just draw a line on the map from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, lay down some concrete, and let the train roll. But here's the reality you're not drawing a line through empty space. You're cutting through farms, forests, villages, towns, through people's lives. And that's where things got complicated. Back in 2017, when the MAHSR was greenlit, the target was to acquire roughly 14,000 hectares of land across Gujarat and Maharashtra. Gujarat, they move fast, efficient, coordinated, and proactive. In just a few years, they had acquired more than 90% of their required land. But Maharashtra, well, that was a different story. Why? Because acquiring land in India isn't just a technical process, it's emotional. We are talking about farmers who have tilled the same soil for generations, families who have grown up on ancestral land, tribals whose relationship with the forest is deeply spiritual, not just practical. When officials showed up asking for land, many weren't ready to give up. Compensation packages were debated, fears of displacement grew, activists raised alarms about environmental impact, and as expected, court cases followed. Protests happened. In some regions, even survey teams were blocked. Think of it this way we're trying to build a rocket ship, but someone's holding on the launch pad. Not because they don't want progress, but because they don't want to lose their identity. That's why in 2020, Gujarat had raced ahead, while Maharashtra had acquired just about 25% of its share. One state was building viaducts, the other was still stuck in public hearings. And here's the irony it's a project designed for speed, but it got stuck in the slowest moving part of our system bureaucracy. But there's been a silver lining over the past couple of years, especially since 2023. The momentum in Maharashtra has shifted. Political leadership changed, community dialogues improved, compensation packages were revised, and most importantly, people started seeing this project as more than just land loss. They saw opportunity because, yes, losing land is painful, but if managed right, the project could bring in new routes, better compensation, and jobs, turning hardship into hope. The project currently had acquired almost 100% of the land in both the states. But have the work started? Let's find out. Alright, let's start with the biggest engineering win of the month, and honestly, one of the biggest wins of the entire year. The Shilfata Ghansoli Tunnel, all 4.8 kilometers of it, has officially achieved breakthrough. That means the tunneling is completely connected end to end. And remember, this isn't just any tunnel. It's part of the super challenging 21-kilometer BKC Thane underground section, which includes India's first ever undersea tunnel under the Thane Creek, multiple cross passages, and some really tricky geographical zones. Now that this breakthrough is done, tunneling at the remaining portals will move much faster. Huge milestone. Now let's talk about the monster, BKC station. This is the deepest, most complex, and the single most demanding structure in the entire project. Work is in high gear. Over 75% of the station box evacuation is done. All 3,384 secant piles installed, which means it is 100% finished. Side walls reinforced. More than 2.7 lakhs cubic meter of concrete already poured. Base slab are being built in multiple sections, and TBM launch zones are fully prepared. Long story short, things are finally moving fast at the toughest station of the entire corridor. If you're someone who loves visible progress, Gujarat is the place to watch. As of now, 293 kilometers of viaduct is complete, 375 kilometers of piers are up, 394 kilometers of foundations are done. In many districts, the viaduct now runs continuously for tens of kilometers without a break. It's literally becoming a signature of a landscape. Now everyone excited about which part will open first, right? And here's your answer. The first operational stretch is expected to be Surat to Billimora, roughly 50 kilometers. Why this stretch? Because civil work is almost fully done. Track bed plus OHE work is already active. Station interiors are ahead of schedule, and testing teams get a clean, isolated zone to work in. So here's the expected sequence. Track laying plus OHE will be completed by 2026. System testing will be done by late 2027, and trial runs will be expected in the early 2028. Public opening around 2028, well before the full corridor is ready. Now let's talk about track installation. India is now laying Shinkansen standard J-slab RC tracks for the very first time. This is literally the same technology used on Japan's high-speed rail. Status is 176 kilometers of track bed already installed. Active work zone includes Vapi to Billimora section, Surat to Bharuch section, Vadodara Anand Ahmedabad section. Electrification for the bullet train is already speeding up. Right now, 1000 plus OHE masts have already been erected. Work happening in 6 districts. Foundation for the poles are already being digged up daily. First high-speed power substation is under structural development. Gujarat will be the first state to get the energized OHE, expected sometime in 2027 for the trial runs. This will be a major milestone. People always ask, who's ahead, Maharashtra or Gujarat? Here's the simple breakdown. Gujarat has completed civil work of almost 80 to 85%. Station work is almost 70 to 75% complete. Track bed installation is going rapidly. OHE wiring is happening at a steady pace. If we talk about Maharashtra, civil work is only 30 to 35% complete. Challenges were mainly BKC underground station, the underground tunnel, and long land acquisition delays, which is now 100% done. But now the tunneling has accelerated and BKC is moving aggressively. The pace in Maharashtra is expected to jump dramatically in 2026. Now let's talk about station by station progress. Let's start with Surat because this station is turning into one of the most advanced on the entire corridor. Even the Prime Minister visited it in November. That's how important it's becoming. Right now, roof installation is in full swing. Platform cores are fully built. Interior work, MEP, and facade finishing are picking up pace. And the best part, even the road around the station are getting upgraded at the same time. Surat is easily one of the top progress stations. Next step, Vapi. And here the progress is super satisfying to watch. The viaduct is completely connected. Station roofing is done. Concourse slabs and platforms are nearly finished. Electrical rooms are now being set up. You can actually visualize the final station from here now. Billimora is moving at almost the same pace as Vapi. Platform walls and staircases are up, roof frames are in place, and the trackbed installation is now very close to the station. This one is shaping up very quickly. Bharuch is structurally strong at this point. Large viaducts on both sides are ready. The main station shell is complete. OHE masts are already visible in neighboring sections. You can clearly see the system work approaching this area. Now, Vadodara is special. This is the major technical and administrative hub for the corridor. Multiple control rooms and maintenance areas are being built. Long stretches of viaducts are connected end to end. Interior fit outs have already begun. This station will be crucial for operation once the line goes live. Anand Nadiad section is one of the earliest to fly ahead in construction. Viaduct here has been already for a long time. Track installation teams are now actively laying J-slab bases. Station equipment rooms are progressing smoothly. A lot of high-speed testing prep will depend on this stretch. Ahmedabad is in the polishing stage now. Civil structure is basically done. Integration work with existing rail and metro networks is happening, and a full multi-modal transport hub is being prepared. This is going to be one of the busiest bullet train stations once the corridor opens. Sabarmati high-speed rail terminal is the big one. The huge concourse and roof structure are almost complete. Multimodal elevated roads are being built right outside, and this location will eventually act as the headquarters for Shinkansen operation in India. Now let's talk about the Maharashtra ground level stations, that is Thane, Virar and Boisar. These were slower initially because everything depends on tunnel progress. Plus, the big viaduct spans in this region are extremely complex. The good news, foundation work is active, pier constructions have picked up speed, and from 2025 onwards, fabrication and launching intensified. So, Maharashtra is finally warming up. And finally, the toughest station of all, BKC. About 75% of the excavation is done, side walls are completed, TBM assembly zones are ready for action, concrete base slabs are being cast segment by segment. This will be the last station to finish, but progress is steady, disciplined, and finally moving at a strong pace. Now, a lot of you keep asking, when is the first Shinkansen actually coming to India? So let's clear that up. Japan will only send the first train set after two major things are ready: a proper stretch of the track for high speed testing, complete OHE and signaling integration of that section. And based on where things stand right now, the first Shinkansen is expected to arrive between the late 2026 and the early 2027. This lines up perfectly with the testing schedules for the priority section. Also, just to set expectations, these trains are not coming fully built. They are arriving in modules, packed and shipped from Japan, and they get fully assembled at the dedicated facility near Sabarmati. So, yes, by 2026-27, we should finally see the iconic Shinkansen shape being to appear in India, piece by piece. Now, let's talk about the big questions on everyone's mind. How much is this going to burn in your wallet? Let's say you're planning a one-way trip from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Right now, if you fly, you'll spend anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000 rupees, depending on the time, airline, and how early you book. But then you add airport travel, security lines, baggage checks, and suddenly your 1.5 hours flight become a 4 hours ordeal. Now enter the bullet train. You arrive at the city center station, board the train within 15 minutes, and reach your destination in 2 hours. Smooth, fast, and stress-free. According to NHSRCL, the proposed fare will be around 3,000 to 3,500 rupees for a one-way trip between Mumbai to Ahmedabad. Some people say that's expensive, but here's the analogy. Think of it like flying business class, but at economy pricing. You get speed, comfort, legroom, peace, and predictability without the airport chaos. Plus, just like airlines, the bullet train will have both economy and business class. Fares may vary depending on timing, demand, and seat type. Dynamic pricing, in other words. So, yes, it won't be cheap as a sleeper train, but it won't be a luxury either. It's a middle ground, targeting value, not just price. Also consider the hidden benefits: zero emissions, time saved, stress avoided, and energy preserved. When you stack all that up, it's actually a pretty good deal. Alright, let's break this down into simple words because I know a lot of you are wondering, are we actually on track? So, first, Gujarat. Honestly, yes, Gujarat is absolutely on track. Most of the civil work is already done. Stations look almost complete. Viaducts are connected. And now the systems work. That's moving really smoothly. So if everything continues like this, Gujarat should be ready by 2027 without much drama. Entire corridor, December 2029. Now the big one, the entire Mumbai Ahmedabad route. Are we hitting the December 2029 inauguration? Realistically, yes. But it's going to be tight. And the whole reason is simple: Maharashtra. Maharashtra is the most challenging underground work, especially the VKC station and the massive undersea tunnel. But here's the good news: tunneling speed has picked up, land issues gone, and the construction is finally moving at a pace that actually looks promising. So, if BKC and the undersea tunnel continues at the current momentum, then yes, the 2029 timeline is very much achievable. Now, with a lot of buffer, I'll be honest, but still doable. So to sum up, Gujarat is going smooth. Maharashtra is catching up fast. So 2029 inauguration looks solid as long as the momentum stays. This project isn't just about connecting two cities. It's about transforming how we move, how we think about travel, and how we build cities. Here's how. The first is job creation. The project has already created thousands of jobs, from engineers to construction workers. Once operational, it will generate even more in maintenance, operations, and services. The second is skill transfer. Indian engineers are getting trained in Japan, learning how to operate and maintain bullet trains. That knowledge invaluable for future high-speed corridors. The third is boost to the local economies. Cities like Surat and Vadodara are witnessing a surge in real estate development, hotels, and local businesses, anticipating the passenger flow. The fourth is reduce pollution. With electric trains replacing cars and flight travel, MAHSR could significantly reduce carbon emissions over time. The fifth is setting the stage for future corridors. If this corridor succeeds, it opens the door for more, like the Delhi Varanasi or Mumbai Nagpur high speed lines. It's not just about going faster, it's about building a new foundation for the country's infrastructure. Think of it like this: if India's old railway were the arteries of a developing nation, bullet trains are the nervous system of a future ready economy. Now let's be real for a second. We've all been on the long train rides that stretches for hours. The heat, the delay, the cramped compartments. We've all stood up in long queues at railway counters only to get RAC tickets. This project promised a future where none of this is necessary. Imagine visiting your parents in Ahmedabad from Mumbai and returning the same day, comfortably, or attending a wedding in Surat and coming back to your office in time. That's the kind of convenience that changes lives. Not just commutes, but it's also understandable why many were skeptical. We have seen grand announcements before that didn't turn into action. The delays, the politics, the paperwork, all of it tests our patience. Yet through all of this, the project has endured, and now it's finally taking shape. So what have we learned? The Mumbai Ahmedabad bullet train isn't just about speed, it's about direction. Yes, it's taking longer than promised. Yes, there were hurdles. But finally, we are seeing concrete pillar rise, tunnels dig up deeper, and stations coming to life. India's bullet train dream, once a distant idea, is now very much on track. So the next time you're stuck in traffic or delayed at the airport, just remember, a faster, cleaner, and smoother future is being built, brick by brick, track by track, and when the first train glides out of the station, it won't just carry passengers, it will be carrying the nation's aspiration. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into India's biggest infrastructure stories. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the bullet train will live up to the hype? Until next time, stay curious, stay informed.